Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are tackling a big one, Dr. Jason Fung's The Obesity Code. Now, this is a book that basically throws out the rulebook on weight loss. We're going to get into why the old advice just doesn't seem to work for so many people, and what this completely different model looks like. So let's just jump right in with a question that Dr. Fung poses right at the start of his book, and it's a real head-scratcher. Why are there fat doctors? I mean, think about it, right? These are people who have all the knowledge, they've got the discipline. So why doesn't that standard advice, eat less, move more, why doesn't it work for them? This is the exact paradox that kicks off this whole journey to rethink what we actually know about weight. And that brings us to the first big idea here, the calorie counting paradox. See, the book's argument is that the problem isn't your willpower. It's not a personal failing. The problem is the model we've all been given. That whole calories in, calories out idea, it might just be fundamentally broken. Dr. Fung makes this really great analogy. He says focusing on calories is like blaming alcoholism on drinking too much alcohol. I mean, sure, it's technically true, but it completely misses the point, right? It's not the root cause. Telling someone to just eat fewer calories is about as helpful as telling an alcoholic to just drink less. It ignores the why. We've got to dig deeper to find that ultimate cause. Okay, so let's break down that old advice piece by piece. First up, why eat less fails? I mean, we've all heard this a million times. It sounds so simple, but what really happens inside your body when you just decide to slash your calories? So way back in the 1940s, there was this landmark study, the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. And while it was designed to understand starvation, it ended up teaching us this huge, crucial lesson about dieting. They took a bunch of healthy guys, put them on a seriously calorie-restricted diet, and what happened next? Well, it pretty much explains why most diets are doomed from the start. And the results were just wow. Their resting metabolic rate, that's the energy your body burns just by existing, right? Just keeping the lights on, it dropped by a massive 40%. Their bodies weren't just burning fat for fuel. No, they were slamming on the brakes, shutting things down to conserve every single calorie they could. And you can really feel the human impact in quotes like this from the study. Can you imagine being so cold in the middle of July that you need a sweater? Their body temperature dropped, their heart rate slowed down, they were weak, they were obsessed with food. Their bodies were basically screaming, "We're in a famine," and going into full-on survival mode. So what you get is this predictable, vicious cycle. You eat less, your body panics and fights back by slowing everything down. The weight loss stalls, and you feel miserable. Then, the moment you go back to eating normally, your metabolism is still in the slow lane, so the weight just piles back on, often with a little extra. The key here is that this isn't a failure of willpower. It's a biological program. It's your body doing exactly what it's designed to do. All right, so if eat less is a dead end, what about its partner in crime? Move more. Just hit the gym, burn it off. That's got to be the answer, right? Well, the data is actually pretty shocking. When you look at countries all over the world, there's just no clear connection between how much a nation exercises and its obesity rates. Take the United States, for example. People there exercise a lot, yet they have one of the highest rates of obesity. How does that make any sense? Well, here's a big part of the reason why. Our total energy expenditure, that's all the calories you burn in a day, is mostly made up of our basal metabolic rate. That's just the energy needed to keep you alive, breathing, your heart beating, all that background stuff. That workout you did, it's actually a pretty small slice of the total pie. And here's the real kicker. Our bodies are just too smart for this simple math. They compensate. So you go for a run and burn 300 calories, your body might just make you hungrier later, so you eat them back. Or it might subtly make you more lethargic the rest of the day, so you fidget less and burn fewer calories subconsciously. Your body is a master at balancing its own budget, and it often does it behind your back. Okay, so if eat less doesn't work and move more is not the whole story, then what on earth is going on? This is where we get to the absolute heart of the obesity code. It's a whole new way of thinking about how our bodies actually manage our weight. And this right here is the core idea. The old calorie model treats your body like a dumb scale. Calories in, calories out. Simple. But the hormonal model says, no, your body is like a smart thermostat. It has a set point, a specific weight it wants to be, and it will actively fight to stay there. And we've seen this in studies. When scientists have tried to deliberately overfeed lean people to make them gain weight, it's incredibly hard. Their bodies just fight back. Their metabolism kicks into high gear, sometimes by as much as 50%, to burn off the extra calories. They lose their appetite, and as soon as the experiment is over, whoosh, the weight goes right back to where it started. It's like the body has a mind of its own. So, the real problem of obesity, according to this model, isn't that you're lazy or undisciplined. The problem is that your body's thermostat, your set weight, is just set too high. Your body is actively defending that higher weight. So the goal shouldn't be to fight your own body tooth and nail. The goal has to be, how do we turn down the thermostat? Which brings us to the million-dollar question. What's controlling the thermostat? And the book points its finger at one key player, one single hormone: insulin. So what is insulin? Well, the easiest way to think about it is as the main energy storage hormone. It's kind of like a traffic cop for the energy from your food. After a meal, especially one with carbs, insulin levels go up, and its main job is to tell your body what to do with all that incoming fuel. Either burn it now, or, more importantly, store it for later. And here's how that works. When you eat, your insulin rises. First, it tells your liver and muscles to top off their short-term energy stores. Think of this as the cash in your wallet, but those fill up pretty fast. Once the wallet is full, insulin directs every last bit of extra energy to be stored away as body fat. That's your long-term savings account. As long as insulin is high, it's a one-way street. Energy goes into fat storage and the door is locked. Now, this is maybe the most important point in the entire book. When your insulin levels are high all the time, which can happen from eating the wrong kinds of foods too often, it actually raises your body's set weight. It recalibrates that thermostat. Your body starts to think this higher level of body fat is the new normal, and it will fight just as hard to defend that new higher weight. And that leads us to a final, really powerful idea to chew on. If our hormones, specifically insulin, are what control our body's thermostat, then we've been asking the wrong question all along. The question isn't how many calories are in this food. The real question becomes, what does this food do to my insulin? And that changes everything. It shifts the entire focus away from how much we eat and puts it squarely on what we eat.